You may remember, if you saw earlier videos, that this output transformer had failed originally, and this is a replacement. So the primary had gone open on the original one, so I've put this one in, which is a new replacement transformer. That led to some issues. This particular set uses negative feedback, and to lower distortion. So when I'll show you on the schematic. So here's the schematic of the radio. Over here is the volume control, and over here is the output transformer. And from the output transformer over to the bottom of the volume control is a connection. When I got the radio originally, it had a connection straight to earth from there, and this wire was cut, non-existent, wasn't there. So I thought I'd reinstate the negative feedback loop, which I duly did. I attached a wire here and attached a wire here, and turned the radio on to be greeted by massive oscillation, uncontrolled. I had to turn it off immediately. It was so bad. Now I didn't quite understand negative feedback, and I'm not sure I still don't quite understand it, but I didn't know what to do. I tried a lot of different things to try and work out what was going on. Eventually I put a post up on a vintage radio tech talk website, and a gentleman named Fred came back and said, you've got your isolation transformer connections backwards. He said either swap the primary over here or swap the negative connections here over. So yeah. So what I ended up doing, I actually did the primary one because it was easier to get to. So and immediately the radio worked, and immediately I read it. When I read the forum, I thought, of course I've read that before. You've got to have the phase correct. So now it's working really well. The sound's better, it's clearer, and it also had an issue with the volume being too loud. When it was on minimum volume, you could still hear the radio quite audible, more than what you would expect. That also got addressed. That was my original question, actually, and I happened to mention about the feedback problem with the oscillation problem when I connected up the wire to the output transformer. So Fred had said change it over. I did so. I realised immediately what it was and knew that would fix it. So and it did. It was great. So just to demonstrate and for my own benefit, I thought I'd put an oscilloscope on here to see what's going on. Just reading the limited amount of information that's on the internet. The thinking is connect it one way, and if it doesn't work, just flip the wires over. There's no real way of telling which way it's going to go, apparently. So what I've done is I've connected my oscilloscope in here and one here. So I've got a probe on each of those points, and that will read the signal going in the phase and the phase going back to the volume control. So we should be able to see it on the screen. So I set my frequency generator to 600 Hertz, and I've tuned the radio to 600 Hertz to pick it up. And there's the sine wave there. I'll just let me capture that. There we go. I'll just move them down so they're on top of each other. And you can see that they're in phase. Now apparently the yellow there is the grid, and the blue is the output transformer, or the speaker, I suppose, between the speaker and the output transformer. So apparently the difference between the output and the input of these through the transformer is the distortion. So if you overlay it, it will deduct that part of the signal and lower the distortion. I'll just invert one of the signals. Yeah. And I'll capture that, and there you go there. So that's how mine was originally when it was oscillating, and the signals are in opposition to each other, so that causes the oscillation. So that's how it shouldn't be, of course, and the way I showed you originally was the correct way. So there it's back to its normal, the way it should be, and it lays on top of each other. So I thought that was quite interesting that I could actually see what was going on. I don't say that I understand negative feedback completely, but it's a start, so it's part of the learning curve, and happy to have learned that out, and very much thanks to, I'll turn that off, very much thanks to Fred for pointing that out so obvious. so obviously he said that the bloke who did it transformed him was a monkey, so I had to tell him that it was me. So he apologised for calling me a monkey, but that's quite alright. I don't mind being called a monkey. One other thing I did was this this valve here had the ground wire running around here. These valves have a shield sprayed on them and then covered with this red paint, I assume. So underneath is a goldy coloured shield. They had tied the wire around there, picked up the shield here with the wire going past it, and then tied it down to this solder joint here. I thought that looked a bit ugly, plus you couldn't get the valve in and out for troubleshooting reasons. So what I've done is I've turned it around and I've run it down to pin number 2 on the valve and just wrapped it around the pin and soldered it in position so that the shield is earthed through pin 2. So that looks a bit neater, and I can get the valve in and out. It's a complete self-contained unit now. I did try some other valves, but they didn't work any better, and well, might as well keep using the one that's working quite well. So something else I did was change this volume pot and a new one in there with a switch on the back. So the old pot had a centre tapped coming out the side, and they had it as a base type thing, I believe. Lost that feature, but at least the volume control works properly and smoothly now. So good morning. Our case has come up pretty good. I'm very happy with that. You can't see any of the repairs, so it doesn't look like it's been in any major accident like it did before. The radio's almost ready to go. I've put a new cover on the faceplate, or the back plate I suppose, I'm not sure what it is, the grill. So that's okay. It's not the best cover I could have used, but it's the only one I've got, so I think it'll look alright when it's in there. And I've cleaned up the glass, so very carefully, of course. I just used water, I didn't use anything else, and very carefully just cleaned it up, so those numbers will come off. This one seems pretty good actually, it's quite sturdy. The other things I need to do is just touch up this bit of missing paint here on this back plate. You might be able to see it, I'm not sure if I will or not. It may well be hidden, but I'll just do it anyway. Yeah, so I'll touch that up. I've got to trim the end off this new switch shaft. I also need to attach the power lead back, but it runs through the back of the case, so I won't be able to do that till the last minute when I'm ready to put the case on. If you saw the video where I aligned the radio and then I aligned the pointer, I put the radio back in its case to get the pointer aligned with the marks that are on the glass. When I painted this backplate here, I found there's little marks on there. So there's the pointer setting dot, there's the 600 dot, and along here is the 1500 dot. So if that would have been handy, I wouldn't have to put it back at all, much easier. Okay, the next thing I've got to do is put this case back together. I've got the glass here, I'm going to cleaned up, ready to go, and I believe that goes in there. Then this goes over and lines up with those holes, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I've made up these little rubber cushion, which I will use to just push the glass down. It goes that way, so I'll do that one. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I think that'll be alright actually. If I don't put something in there, the glass rattles, so I'll just put these screws in loosely to hold everything in position. Oops. So let's hope the glass should be securely held now with little rubber cushions on there. I hope we don't see them through the glass. Wouldn't really matter, I suppose. There'll just be a black line there. Okay. Along a bit. There you go. Should be able to do them up. And hopefully the glass is secure. There you go. Alright, that's good. That's good. And there's enough bend in these I don't know what they call them, retainers. There's enough bend in there so that it's not pressuring the glass too much. Okay, so alright, I've just got to thread the cord through the back of the other half of the case and then install it on the radio as it was when I originally got it, and we'll be in business. It's time to put the chassis in the front here. I'll just drop it in and let's hope it all fits. I've got a little tone control on the front there's got to try and get in its locating hole, so just be careful with that. That must have gone in, so okay, cool. Well, I'll put some screws in there, which might be easier said than done, I think. I can get to those two. The other two, I don't know how I'm going to get the screws in there. Yeah. So as I thought. Okay, there's one. I'll just do them up loose. Till we get them all in, then I'll tighten them up. The screwdriver is magnetic, so that might help. So I'll stick it on the screwdriver first. And then we can just pop them in. That's okay, isn't it? I think. That one's seems a bit long or something. Alright, so thanks. There's 3 in there, that's good. And we've got this one here. trying to pinch a wire there, so I'll get that over there. Okay. Let's see how we're going with that little knob. Oops. Yeah. Just trying to push it down that way. It's might benefit from being down a bit as far as that little tone knob's concerned, or slide, I don't know what you call it, toggle. Okay, just tighten these up and we're good. Yeah, that one's strange. That's not doing up properly. So this actually was missing a screw, and I think it was this location. When I pulled it apart, there was no screw there, and I found it inside the chassis at the stuck in between the wiring actually. So I don't know. Alright, well, there it is. You can see through that grill, which is something I was worried about. Yeah, you can still see through it. I might have to put something else behind that to cover it. I can't, that looks awful. Okay, well, that volume control's down too, so's that, so I actually need to lift this up. Alright, I'm going to have to fix that. I hope that would be dark enough to, so that we wouldn't see it, but it's not, so I'm going to have to glue something behind that, double it up. Alright, taking it out again. Alright, well, I'll get a bit of material there and just put it on the back. I think something a bit less see-through, but still acoustically clear. So must have to do that. Yes, it's a nuisance. All right, I've put another layer of material behind it. It's still going to be see-through, but it's not so bad. Hopefully you won't be able to see the workings inside the radio at least. I also just adjusted that volume control position up slightly to, oops, we're backwards now. See if it'll sit more central in its hole. And there we go. Don't know if I can try and have a look while it's there. That looks pretty good actually. Alright. Alright. So I'll just do them up tight now and recheck. Actually, I might just do one or two up tighter. Yeah, I've done one on each side. So, yeah. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. You can still see the cutouts, but you can't see through it anymore, so that's alright. I'm content with that. Before you can see all the aluminium, or you can see all the metal inside. It's actually steel, I think. Okay, well I don't see any reason why I can't slip the back down. There we go. One's antenna and one's earth. And that was the antenna. It's got to be really careful pushing this together, otherwise the paint will get damaged. That's good, very nice. Never see the screws there, that's great. Okay, so 2 screws in the back. I'll put a washer on there because otherwise it's just going to damage the paint as I turn the screws. So, there'll be new modern screws, but can't do much about that. Sorry, new modern washers. And if I don't, it'll just curl the paint as soon as the paint still takes about a week to dry properly. So that doesn't look too bad anyway. Good. Let's hang on to that. If that screw driver slips, I mean all sorts. Alright, there we go. On radio. Alright, so I've also painted the knobs, so see how they go on there. Little felt washer. Gosh. This is working all right. Okay. Too big? Oh, that's all right. It's a different felt. It's a new one. I probably should have used the same on both, shouldn't I? Okay. I'll take this one off and I'll put the same felt on. This is the felt that came off it originally, so it's a lot thinner. At least they look the same. Alright, there you go. There you go, looking a bit better than it was a couple of weeks ago. I'll just turn it on there. Oh, that looks nice. Might just plug an aerial on. Wait a minute. I think that'll work much better with an aerial. There we go.
From the port to go, down to Dover. where Aussies tell you firsthand of their love for this land. And it's Macca's, Australia all over.
Good morning, Mako. I'm just on my way to the airport this morning. I'm heading to Sydney for the day. I'm in Melbourne. The thing that prompted me to ring, Mac.
A bit of a slow run for the Gateway motorway northbound through Stretton. Sherwood Road also busy in both. Tweeted that.
He really thrived on the short break that he had after.
Is 70, down again. Collingwood 106, Carlton 87, Melbourne 61 and Gold Coast.
Tropical north of Australia, and it's in the forests of Indonesia and New Guinea too. Let's hear it again. That's your top end tweet of the week. If you recognise it, text us your name and your answer to 0418 226 576, or on Twitter, use the handle @RadioNational with the hashtag ABCRN. We will reveal our caller's identity in the next half hour of Sunday Extra.
Well, there you go. If you know that sound, you can give them a ring and I'll give you a prize. Alright, well that's it for this one. It's somewhat better than it was.
Never heard of it. Its victims are pigs. The disease is called African swine fever. It is highly contagious.
And if you recall, this was all beaten up in there, bent. And the back here was, well, more or less missing from... But I think it had a crack around here, didn't it? Through all here, through this ribbing. So that's all been repaired. So yeah, it comes up alright. Looks good. And that's very close to its original colour. I know it looks a bit strange, but it's actually very close to it. It looked brown when I first saw it. I thought it was Bakelite. I thought it was a Bakelite case. But it actually, when you looked at areas that were not subject to sunlight, it was red. Or this reddy brown colour. So it's a very close match. So anyway, thanks for watching. This been a very interesting little repair and restore. And something that would have ended up in the junk. Now we can store it and hopefully it'll get a second life somewhere. Thanks very much for watching.